Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and welcome to the launch of the Capital Market Masterplan 3, CMP3 by the Securities Commission Malaysia. My name is Hanis, and on behalf of the SC, I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. This event will begin shortly. This live stream will be recorded. Moving on to the agenda, we will start with the opening remarks from the SC Chairman, Datuk Syed Zaid Alba, followed by the keynote address from the Finance Minister, Yang Berhormat Tengku Datuk Seri Utama Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz. Finally, we will then proceed with the launch of the SC's Capital Market Masterplan 3, CMP3. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back shortly. We'll begin at 10 a.m. sharp. Yang Berhormat Tengku Datuk Seri Utama Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz, Minister of Finance. Yang berbahagia Datuk Syed Zaid Alba, Executive Chairman of SC. Distinguished guests. Good morning and welcome to the launch of the Capital Market Masterplan 3, CMP3 by the Securities Commission Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, the CMP3 is developed at a time when Malaysia is rebuilding from the widespread impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, with a focus on enabling the economy to emerge stronger and better as we transition into a high-income, inclusive and sustainable nation. The CMP3 envisions a capital market that will be relevant, efficient and diversified. Now, without further ado, I would like to present the Executive Chairman of SC, Datuk Syed Zaid Alba, to deliver his opening remarks. The screen is yours now, Datuk.
Yang Berhormat Tengku Datuk Seri Utama Zafrul, the Honourable Minister of Finance, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Malaysia's capital market sits at a very critical juncture. Past policy interventions have laid strong foundations and brought in an admirable level of growth and maturity. Success is the result of hard work. Sustaining it is even harder. Maintaining the status quo is not an option, as it leaves the capital market unprepared for the future. It also risks falling behind in a rapidly changing and competitive environment. We must press on to achieve sustainable progress. The path ahead is without doubt uneven. Today, there exists much uncertainty within the global environment. The structural needs of our domestic economy going forward will be different. New trends and behaviors are set to alter the overall market landscape. And as we navigate these changes, what also needs to be considered is whether the capital market has served the underlying needs and aspirations of the country and its people. It must also be underpinned by robust processes and governance practices for long-term resilience, growth and sustainability. Over the last decade, established market segments such as corporate bonds, Sukuk, fund management and the Islamic capital market, or ICM, have sustained their strong growth momentum. Alternative market-based platforms have also gained prominence during this period, attracting high levels of participation from issuers and investors. And as we embark on a new chapter with the third Capital Market Masterplan, or CMP3, it is an opportune time to recalibrate our approach and outlook as Malaysia rebuilds from the pandemic. The current market ecosystem must be enhanced to position it to support the transition to a stronger and more inclusive and sustainable nation. The CMP3 will provide the roadmap toward this goal, setting the next stage of Malaysia's market evolution and growth, as well as the SC's regulatory expectations and indeed its own regulatory approach. It also serves to align a wider financial sector efforts, promoting better coordination across policymakers, regulatory authorities, and industry. For market participants, there is no better time to step up to ensure our capital market remains relevant to businesses, investors, and other key stakeholders. It is also important that the intermediation ecosystem remains as facilitative as possible, whilst promoting flexibility, efficiency, and diversity. This will ensure alignment with the CMP3's desired outcomes to be relevant, efficient, and diversified. As all of you will be aware, the CMP3 outlines our plans for the next 5 years. We believe this strikes the right balance, being sufficiently long-term and retaining a degree of strategic agility given the prevailing circumstances. A deep and well-diversified capital market is a necessary prerequisite for the shift to high-income nation status. Apart from the diversification and financing opportunities, it provides a fertile environment to allow innovative business concepts and the creative zeal of Malaysian entrepreneurs to flourish. Thus, the CMP3 was crafted to facilitate innovation, growth, whilst promoting good governance. I will now share the 6 development and regulatory thrusts that underpin this master plan. Insights from our internal and industry engagement made it clear that focus should be on areas with greater impact, such as those that will not only generate the most value, but also provide complementary spillover effects. First, greater market access, coupled with a broad range of risk intermediation and fundraising solutions, can provide a catalyzing effect on our long-term competitive growth. Therefore, our capital market intermediaries and the market ecosystem must be ready to better serve our corporate upstarts and titans of the future. Second, climate action and the rise of the stakeholder economy will engender greater sustainability and inclusiveness. These pillars will reshape the economy for the better, with wider and positive impact for society and local communities. It calls for supportive market mechanisms and tools to be in place, particularly those related to sustainable and responsible investments and ICM. The capital market must also continue to prioritize innovation, especially for green and sustainable solutions. Third, the CMP3 prioritizes savings accumulation and preservation to ensure that the benefits of growth accrue to all. It seeks to empower a wide spectrum of investors and provide better all-round experience across the investment life cycle. We all recognize that investors' behaviors are evolving, and we must ensure, therefore, that the suite of available investment options, as well as the quality of advice to meet their needs. Fourth, under the CMP3, the regulatory approach will be to embed shared accountability. This entails encouraging responsible business conduct that upholds integrity, transparency, and good governance. Market participants will be expected to demonstrate a greater ability to self-regulate to preserve overall market integrity. Fifth, the CMP3 emphasizes clear outcomes and efficiency in regulatory actions. Targeted and outcome-based enforcement, as well as a more proactive supervision stance, will assist in shaping market conduct. This will also ensure that vulnerable investors are less susceptible to harm. We expect both these fourth and fifth thrusts will further engender trust and confidence in our capital market. Finally, we anticipate technology to have an outsized role in driving the market and regulatory environment. Therefore, industry digital offerings and adoption will be thoroughly assessed to weigh their benefits and risks. Correspondingly, the SC also intends to increase the use of regulatory technology, RegTech and SupTech, to promote greater market efficiencies and enhance compliance and reporting processes. Ladies and gentlemen, the CMP3 aspires for a capital market that benefits each and every one of us. This includes the young and old, our future generations, intermediaries, as well as a wide range of issuers and business models, be they large, medium, or small. In developing the master plan, we relied on our collective institutional strength across the organization, guided by the keen insight and judicious foresight of our executive management team. I would also like to record my appreciation for the invaluable input of industry and our various stakeholders, including the Finance Minister and the Ministry of Finance. The way forward requires steadfast determination, cooperation, and commitment from all the stakeholders. We need to come together to overcome the challenges ahead and seize the opportunities. Berat sama dipikul, ringan sama dijinjing. It will be our collective responsibility to work together to bring this strategic thrust and desired outcomes to a fruition and effect a meaningful change. On that note, it is my honor to now welcome Yang Berhormat Tengku Datuk Seri Utama Zafrul to deliver his keynote address and launch the CMP3. Thank you.
Datuk Syed Zaid Alba, Chairman of Securities Commission Malaysia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. It is my pleasure to be here at the Securities Commission Malaysia's launch of the Capital Market Masterplan 3 or CMP3. Over the past decade, the world has gone through various shifts, from major movements in global liquidity, mounting geopolitical tensions, to the exponential use and adoption of technology. An increased awareness of climate change, as well as the call to be good global citizens, have also altered traditional industrial mindsets to adopt a longer-term view on the impact of business to the community. The decade started at the tail end of the global financial crisis and ended with a global pandemic that is still reverberating today. Throughout the same period, our capital market continued to grow in both breadth and depth. By end of 2020, it grew by a compounded annual growth rate, or CAGR, of 5.3% to 3.4 trillion ringgit, underpinned by continuous fundraising activity in the equities and bond market. The market capitalization of our listed companies has also grown in tandem with the nation's economic progress and modernization. In terms of financial intermediation, the total assets under management in the fund management industry has also increased twofold, attributed by growing demand in the unit trust segment. This was further supported by policies introduced over the years which have led to an industry that is more inclusive and accessible today. Besides growing in size, our capital market has also led the way in breaking new grounds, both regionally and globally. This has positioned us as one of the more promising capital markets amongst peers, particularly in terms of our own uniqueness and strengths. A testament to this includes Malaysia being one of the pioneers in the region to introduce alternative fundraising avenues that caters to the micro, small and medium enterprises or MSMEs, such as equity crowdfunding and peer-to-peer financing. Moreover, we have also reinforced our position as a prominent and innovative global hub for Islamic finance. We have pioneered structures that are considered first in the world, such as the Green Sukuk and a fully digital issuance of the retail Sukuk, namely Sukuk Prihatin, as well as the more recent sovereign US dollar sustainability Sukuk. This also led to the development of more Sharia-based products such as the environmental, social and governance or ESG Sukuk funds, as well as other innovative fundraising avenues that emphasizes on social welfare such as the Waqaf IPO. Complementing this include our resolution on Sharia-compliant digital assets. All these milestones are backed by an agile approach towards regulation. We have constantly improved the regulatory framework to protect investors and preserve market integrity, which led to our corporate governance standards at par, or in some instances better than international best practices. This has strengthened accountabilities by all stakeholders in our capital market. Ladies and gentlemen, as we recover from the widespread impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the path ahead for our nation remains challenging. The economic downturn has shown how it has disproportionately affected the people and several sectors of our economy. Indeed, the economy has always been key in our National Recovery Plan and soon Budget 2022. In the immediate term, both aim to address the most affected sectors and households through targeted measures while minimizing long-term economic scarring. This is supported by the National Fourth Industrial Revolution policy through the Malaysian Digital Economy Blueprint, which underscores how digitalization and technological adoption are crucial to boost our economic prospects and resilience. Complementary to this is the ongoing structural reforms over the medium term through the National Investment Aspirations Framework, as well as the Perkukuh Pelaburan Rakyat Initiative on GLC's transformation. Additionally, the 12th Malaysia Plan, which will be unveiled soon, will provide a blueprint for sustainable growth aimed at strengthening socio-economic inclusivity and environmental sustainability. All these policy initiatives are aligned with the country's longer-term development policy, the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, the Capital Market Masterplan 3 fits well into the nation's aspirations, as highlighted earlier. In supporting these policies, the capital market plays an important role as one of the key enablers for structural reforms to the economy. It will also pave the way for the wider population to participate in the nation's growth by enabling more inclusive and accessible investment products and distribution channels. To this end, the increased use of technology by capital market participants to become more innovative, efficient and diversified will also provide Malaysians with easier and better access to investment products, as well as more customer-friendly investing experience and more solutions catering to their needs. Moreover, technology is also important in facilitating financing for local businesses, both MSMEs and large corporations, as part of our economic recovery agenda. This will aid them in moving up the value chain, adopt digital solutions, as well as provide meaningful employment. Another important pillar of the capital market will be on how the financial ecosystem mobilizes capital to early and growth stage firms. Public-private partnerships, such as co-investment structures, will expand and contribute to the development of our venture capital and private equity segments. This includes providing expertise and crowd-in of more private investments to enable our entrepreneurs to compete and improve their positioning both at the regional and international levels. One good example is the Dana Penjana National Program. Following the successful investment in Qasem, they have also invested in another unicorn, which is Zendit, a fintech startup which will relocate their financial hub to Malaysia. This is a testament of how an initiative such as Dana Penjana has spurred innovation and provided risk capital to nurture new businesses and startups in Malaysia. As our nation recovers, it is important to ensure that growth is sufficiently diversified and all Malaysians are able to partake in and enjoy that growth. This comes at a time where more people will have to rebuild and secure their retirement savings, especially as our nation shifts towards an aging society. This is where our capital market must play its role in achieving the objectives of the World Bank's 5-pillar pensions policy framework, which aims to protect the risks of poverty in old age and address pension adequacy during retirement years. This entails further development and improvements to our existing voluntary privately funded pension segment, the Private Retirement Scheme or PRS, in line with Pillar 3 of the framework. In the near future, the path towards growth will need to be sustainable for our planet, its people, and to bring greater shared prosperity. In line with this, Malaysia is committed to accelerate the transition to a greener economy and promote socio-economic development of our nation. As more businesses define their net zero emission target, there will be a need for large investments to be directed towards carbon capture and energy-efficient technologies to reduce greenhouse gases. As such, capital markets must play its role in mobilizing capital to enable such transition. At the same time, corporates must adapt to embrace this agenda or risk being left behind, not only by investors, but also by financial institutions and the broader supply chain, which has increasingly emphasized on ESG. Our strength within the Islamic capital market segment will also complement the growing demand for such investments. Due to the commonalities between ESG and Sharia values, this gives us a unique value proposition to chart the path forward on sustainability and Islamic social finance. Moving forward, in achieving more domestic and foreign investments, it is important to instill greater confidence in our capital market. In this respect, improvements in corporate governance standards will continue to shape the integrity of our corporates. This includes the emphasis towards greater accountability to stakeholders that goes beyond short-term profitability. To this end, nothing short of a whole-of-nation approach is required. In addition to the regulators and the government, corporate leaders, investors, advocacy groups, and other stakeholders will need to step up their role in shaping the landscape of corporate accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, with the CMP3 as a medium to longer-term strategic guide for our capital market, I am confident that it will continue to play an important role in the Malaysian economy. I echo Dato' Said's remark that realizing the vision of the CMP3 is a shared journey for all of us to undertake. With that, this flags off the next phase of development for the Malaysian capital market. I hereby launch the Capital Market Masterplan 3, charting the path towards a capital market that is more inclusive, efficient, and diversified. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Look around us. Our world is fast changing, reshaping the fundamentals of finance. Technology is innovating our homes and workplaces. Greater competition is pushing businesses beyond traditional boundaries. Populations are aging, with many not prepared for retirement. While the global community comes together in the race against climate change and to make a difference to the world we live in. As the world resets, the Malaysian capital market can catalyze a stronger economy, driving momentum for a greener and more inclusive future. The Capital Market Masterplan 3 envisions a capital market that is relevant to all businesses and entrepreneurs, allowing them to achieve their growth potential. Efficient in mobilizing capital. Diversified to empower all Malaysians to invest for their future. The Capital Market Masterplan 3 aims to revitalize our businesses and nurture industries of the future. Provide offerings and marketplaces to cater to a wider range of businesses and investors. With sustainable and responsible investment and Islamic capital market as pillars of a stakeholder economy, the Capital Market Masterplan 3 will foster shared accountability within the capital market to protect investors. Leverage corporate governance to instill greater responsibility to the planet and its people. Accelerate digitization to democratize the capital market for all Malaysians. The Capital Market Masterplan 3 is a shared journey of the Malaysian society. Join us to achieve a more relevant, efficient, and diversified capital market. Find out more at sc.com.my.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our event for today, and on behalf of the SC, I would like to once again thank our guests of honor, Yang Berhormat Tengku Datuk Sri Utama Zafrul, and all of you who have joined us this morning. I am Panis, and it has indeed been a great pleasure being your MC. We look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, please stay safe and have a great week ahead.